Hi, I've got another Beatles update video with some recent vinyl that I've acquired in recent weeks or so, and I haven't shown these things yet. So let's get to it right away as usual. I'm going to start with an item that I got from Mr. Eli Records. That's Eli from Israel. He had a contest where he was asking people to show foreign Beatles albums and different kinds of rarities that they have in their collections, and then he was going to pick a name out of the hat, and out of all the winners that were chosen, whoever was first got to pick the first crack at what record or book or prize he or she wanted. So there was an item in Eli's collection that he was showing as one of the prizes that I really wanted to have, and it was this. It was my number one choice. It was not your ordinary everyday Sgt Pepper album. This is an Israeli pressing of Sgt Pepper, and it's in mono. It's the mono version. It was the first item that I really wanted, and I knew the chances were not in my favor to be the first prize winner, but I was very lucky, and I couldn't believe it when my name came out. This is really interesting because the record itself is in mono. It's on the Parlophone label. And as we all know, who collect the Beatles, the mono version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is different sounding in places than the stereo version, and vice versa. So thank you so much, Eli. This was the prize that I wanted to pick, and I was hoping that whatever number I was, first, second, third, winner, etc., that this would be remaining for me to pick from. I would be just as excited getting a press from Israel if it was in a stereo edition, but the fact that it's in mono really is pretty amazing to me, and that really is the icing on the cake. So thank you for running your contest, and I'm so happy I won it. Alright, everything else that I'm going to show for this particular video are going to be 45s and picture sleeves and things like that. Now, I'm going to start with about 5 picture sleeves from the US, and let's stay right off the bat. Anybody who is a fan of the Beatles and starts collecting items, records, things like that from the Beatles, you're going to know that the picture sleeves are rather pricey, and it's very difficult to get a picture sleeve for 45 from the Beatles from the vintage 60s and to have it in really nice condition and not cost an arm and a leg, and I'm not going to pay an arm and a leg for most of these. The first one I want to show you is an upgrade. It's probably my favorite picture sleeve, and it's this one. It's Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. This is not the Capitol or anything. This is from, you know, that label that was called Tali. I never knew how to pronounce that, Tali or Toli, but I call it Tali, and this one was pricey, I have to tell you. I actually bit the bullet on this one. I have this one already in not as pristine shape as this one, that I'm actually going to probably use for VCLT or a prize for my next Beatles contest, whatever I run it, the one I have. It's not in horrible shape, it's actually in pretty good shape, but this one is you know, more pristine, and I paid a little bit for it, I'll be honest with you. I don't like paying those kinds of prices for, I don't know what it is about 45 picture sleeves. I don't want to go crazy, but I did pay a little more than ordinarily. Then I had recently acquired this one. It's not unusual or anything. It's the Capitol sleeve for Yesterday and Act Naturally. This wasn't too bad in price. See, the record store that I go to, which I always call my favorite record store, the owner is very fair, and he prices his memorabilia and albums and things and singles much more fairly than anybody else. This one wasn't much at all, but I have to say, I did take a little bit of a compromise, because there's a number 2 label on there and a little name, somebody named, last name Sarno, S-A-R-N-O. If you're out there, I think her name was Julie, because on the record, the record says, if you can see it, Julie Sarno written on it. So I don't know, people used to write on their records and picture sleeves and things back then. I don't know, maybe they went to parties. Any of you people out there that are older from the 60s, tell me why you tended to write your names and addresses on your records. Is it because you went to parties and, you know, didn't want anybody to take your copy or anything like that? I know back then people didn't think of these records as collectible as they were going to be in future years. Here's a nice version of If I Fell and I Love Her, U.S. Capitol, and it's a pretty clean copy of this. You know, you would think that a person like me, who is such a big Beatles fan and collector, would have had all of these 45 sleeves a long time ago. I have some. I'm trying to upgrade the weaker ones that I have, and to tell you the truth, I have a long way to go. I concentrated mostly on the albums. You know, I only got back into vinyl in 2011, and I spent most of my time getting records, vinyl. You believe this, folks? Vinyl records. What I mean to say is albums, LPs. I got 12-inch stuff, and I'm concentrating on the 45 singles later. Here's a pretty nice copy of All You Need Is Love and Baby You're a Rich Man, the U.S. Capitol picture sleeve. This is a pretty nice copy. It doesn't have any writing or anything on it, and it was, you know, it was up there. You know, I'm not going to pay triple digits, you know, for any of these. Let's put it that way. And if it's double digits, it's going to be, you know, hopefully under 70 bucks, something like that, under 60 bucks, or better. All right, here's a copy of one that's usually hard to find. It's the Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane Capitol single, and this was only 15 bucks. And the reason it was only 15 bucks is because you can't really probably see on the camera, but it's a little worn in places, and there's even a little tear in the corner here. You know, the question is, how fanatical are we going to be about these, you know? I mean, I think for a collector like myself, I really should wait out the best possible deals, you know? But I tend not to. Here's a Japanese John Lennon solo single from Japan, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and Beef Jerky on the back. And lastly, for this video, I'm going to show you something that doesn't have a picture sleeve, but it's pretty rare, I thought. It's a VJ disc jockey jukebox sample and a white label, VJ Thank You Girl. And the B-side is, or this is probably the B-side, it's For Me to You and Thank You Girl. I think For Me to You is the A-side, but it's VJ Jukebox Promo, white label. The only thing is, look at the tear on there. Yeah, that's why I got this cheap. I got it cheaply. Thanks for watching, folks.